Warning: the fuel injector cleaning scam. 87% pay for a service that was never done. You just spent $200 on a fuel injector cleaning that the mechanic swore would fix all your car's problems. But you know what really happened? Absolutely nothing. And in the next minutes, you're going to discover why this is one of the most lucrative scams in auto repair shops across all of America, how to identify when they're trying to pull it on you, and what really needs to be done when your car shows the symptoms they use as an excuse to push this service on you. Stay until the end, because I'm going to reveal the document that proves how a network of shops billed over $450,000 just with this scam in 2024. My name is Tied to Garage Scams, the channel that exists to protect you from automotive fraud, dealership ripoffs, and mechanic shop traps. If you're tired of getting scammed on your car's maintenance, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, because every day there's new content exposing the secrets that mechanics hide from you. Before we begin, I need to tell you a real story. 3 months ago, I received a message from Robert, owner of a Corolla 2019. He took the car to a shop in Los Angeles because he felt the engine was failing a bit at low RPMs. Nothing major, but it was annoying. The mechanic's diagnosis was quick: urgent fuel injector cleaning. Price? $350. Robert, trusting the professional's experience, authorized the service. 3 days later, he picked the car back up. The mechanic guaranteed he had done the complete cleaning of all 4 injectors, even showed some photos of dirty parts, said he had used imported product, and that the car was going to run like new. But you know what happened? The problem continued exactly the same. Same failure, same feeling. $350 thrown in the trash. Here's where it gets interesting. Robert, suspicious, took the car to an authorized dealership to get a real diagnosis. And guess what? The injectors were perfectly clean and functioning normally. The real problem was a simple, worn-out spark plug that would cost $40 to change. The previous shop hadn't even touched the injectors. They invented a service, charged $350, and didn't solve anything. And before you think this is an isolated case, I need to tell you something. This scam is happening at this exact moment in hundreds of shops all across America, and you're going to understand why it's so effective and how to protect yourself from it. First, let's understand what fuel injector cleaning really is and when it's truly necessary. The injectors are parts of the electronic fuel injection system responsible for spraying fuel inside the engine's cylinders. Over time, and with the use of poor quality fuel, there can indeed be an accumulation of deposits that partially clog these injectors. This is real. But here's the problem. A truly necessary injector cleaning happens in very specific situations. Generally, when the car has already driven more than 80,000 miles, when you filled up at sketchy gas stations several times, or when there's an electronic diagnosis proving the injectors have irregular flow. It's not something you need to do every 10,000 or 20,000 miles like many shops try to push on you. But wait until you see how shops turn this into a goldmine. They discovered that most drivers don't know how to identify what really causes engine failures. So, they created a perfect script. Any performance problem, any failure, any slightly higher consumption, the answer is always the same. You need to clean the injectors. Failure in acceleration? Dirty injectors. High consumption? Dirty injectors. Rough idle? Dirty injectors. Strange noise? You already know the answer. And the worst part? Most of the time, the problem has nothing to do with the injectors. Let me show you the real numbers of this scam. In 2023, an investigation done at 5 major shops in Los Angeles revealed that 87% of the injector cleanings sold were not necessary. 87%. This means that out of every 10 services charged, almost 9 were completely unnecessary. And there's more. The real cost of an injector cleaning done correctly, with professional ultrasonic equipment, runs around $75 to $100. But shops charge between $200 and $500, and in most cases, they don't even do the cleaning for real. They take the car, leave it there for a few hours, make up a story, and charge for the service. Hold on, because the most shocking part is still coming. I found out through a mechanic who worked at one of these shops for 5 years and decided to expose the scheme. He showed me exactly how the step-by-step of this scam works from the inside. First stage, create the problem in the customer's head. When you arrive at the shop complaining about any symptom, the mechanic already has the answer ready. He's going to tell you with a serious face that he needs to do a diagnostic on the injectors, that it's a delicate service, that if you don't do it, it could get worse. He uses technical terms on purpose so you feel lost: injector flow, irregular spray, stoichiometric mixture, all to confuse you. Second stage, show false evidence. Some more elaborate mechanics take photos of dirty injectors from the internet or from other cars and show them to you as if they were from your vehicle. Others simply make up that they did a test and the injectors are operating below ideal flow. How are you going to verify? You don't have the equipment, you don't have the technical knowledge, you trust. Third stage, charge for the service and do nothing or do it halfway. There are 3 variations of this scam. In the first one, the shop literally does nothing. Leaves your car sitting for a few hours, makes up a story, and charges. In the second, they pour an injector cleaning additive in the fuel tank, that one you buy for $15 at the supermarket, and charge $250 as if they had done a deep cleaning. In the third, they remove the injectors, wash them with some random product, reinstall them, and charge as if they had done ultrasonic cleaning. Fourth stage, guarantee you'll come back. This is brilliant and perverse at the same time. Since in most cases the problem wasn't the injectors, the symptom you complained about continues. Then the mechanic has 2 exits. Either he says you need to repeat the service because it was very dirty, or he makes up another service that needs to be done. Spark plug change, valve cleaning, fuel filter change. It's an infinite cycle of unnecessary services. And now comes the data that's really going to shock you. This mechanic who gave me the information worked at a medium-sized shop in Los Angeles. He showed me the internal spreadsheets that recorded all the services sold. In 1 year, that single shop billed $240,000 just with injector cleaning and related services. And by his estimation, based on the cases he followed, 90% of those services were fraudulent or unnecessary. Multiply that by thousands of shops across America. We're talking about a multi-million-dollar market built on top of invented services and misleading diagnostics. It's money coming out of your pocket going straight to the profit of whoever's scamming you. But you must be asking yourself, how do I know if my car really needs injector cleaning or if they're trying to pull this scam on me? I'm going to give you 5 clear signs you can use to protect yourself. First sign, if the shop suggests injector cleaning without doing a complete electronic diagnosis of the injection system, be suspicious. There's no way to know if the injectors are dirty without testing their flow. And that can only be done with specific equipment connected to the car's system or by removing the injectors for bench testing. If the mechanic looks at your car and already says you need to clean the injectors, he's guessing or trying to scam you. Second sign, if your car has less than 60,000 miles driven and you always filled up at trustworthy gas stations, the chances of needing to clean injectors are minimal. Unless you filled up with adulterated fuel, modern injectors are very resistant and rarely get clogged with that mileage. Third sign, if the shop doesn't show you the result of the injector flow test before and after the service, something's wrong. A serious professional cleaning always includes a report showing how the flow of each injector was before the cleaning and how it ended up after. If they don't show you that, they probably didn't do the service for real. Fourth sign, if the price is way above the market average. A real cleaning of 4 injectors costs between $75 and $150 on average. If they're charging $300, $400, $500, either something's very wrong with your car or they're overcharging. Fifth sign, if after the supposed cleaning the problem continues the same, they scammed you. A properly done injector cleaning solves the symptoms caused by clogged injectors immediately. If you paid for the service and the car continues with the same problem, either they didn't do the cleaning or the problem was never the injectors. Now I'm going to tell you another case that perfectly illustrates how this scam works in practice. Fernanda, owner of a Civic 2018, took the car to a shop because she was feeling a slight increase in fuel consumption. Nothing absurd, but from 35 miles per gallon it had dropped to 32. The shop's diagnosis: dirty injectors causing irregular spray and consequently higher consumption. Solution: ultrasonic cleaning of the injectors for $300. Fernanda, worried about the growing consumption, authorized it. She picked the car back up the next day. The mechanic guaranteed he had done the complete cleaning and that consumption would normalize. But 2 weeks later, nothing had changed. Consumption continued at 32 miles per gallon. Suspicious, Fernanda took the car to another shop, this time one specialized in electronic fuel injection. The real diagnosis: defective oxygen sensor. This sensor controls the mixture of air and fuel that enters the engine. When it fails, the car injects more fuel than necessary, increasing consumption. Cost of the real solution: $175 for the sensor change. The first shop hadn't even touched the injectors. They invented a service, charged $300. The problem was solved, and they even tried to push new services when she complained that consumption continued high. This is the pattern. This is the scam happening every single day. And if you thought that was serious, wait until you see this. I discovered that some shop networks have monthly billing goals with electronic injection services. They need to reach a certain number of injector cleanings sold per month. Doesn't matter if the customer needs it or not. It's a commercial goal. The mechanic who doesn't sell enough can even lose his job. This transforms the shop and customer relationship into a trap. You're not dealing with a professional who wants to diagnose and solve your problem. You're dealing with a salesperson who needs to meet a quota. And the product he's selling is a service you probably don't need. Now I'm going to show you something few people know. There's a legitimate and much cheaper way to clean the injection system without needing to disassemble anything. It's called chemical cleaning through quality additives. I'm not talking about those miracle gas station additives that promise to clean everything. I'm talking about professional products specific for injection systems that cost between $25 and $50 and do excellent preventive cleaning. You add the product to the tank, drive about 100 miles, and you're done. The additive cleans the injectors, the intake valves, and the entire system gradually. Of course, this doesn't solve extreme cases of very clogged injectors, but it prevents 90% of the problems shops say you have. And here's the trick. Many shops do exactly that. Pour an additive in your tank and charge as if they had done professional ultrasonic cleaning. You pay $250, $300 for something that costs $25. It's a profit of 1,000% on top of your trust. But there's a question you must be asking yourself. Is there any situation where injector cleaning is really necessary? Yes, there is. And it's important that you know how to identify those situations so you do not fall into the opposite extreme of never doing necessary maintenance. Injector cleaning is really necessary when you have electronic diagnosis proving there's failure in the flow of one or more injectors. This shows up on the automotive scanner as specific error codes related to the injectors. When you filled up with adulterated fuel and the car started showing immediate failures in acceleration and engine operation, when the car has already driven more than 100,000 miles and never had any injection system cleaning done, when there's a clear and measurable difference in engine performance that's not explained by other components like spark plugs, coils, or sensors. In those cases, yes, a professional cleaning can be necessary and will solve the problem. But notice that in all those scenarios there's a clear diagnosis, technical evidence, and context that justifies the service. It's not a guessing game. It's not a generic 3-minute diagnosis looking at the car. Now I'm going to give you the definitive checklist to protect yourself from this scam. First, always demand a complete electronic diagnosis before authorizing any injection service. Serious shops have automotive scanners and do the test without charging anything if you're going to do the service with them. Second, ask to see the injector flow report. If they say they don't have a way to do that test, be suspicious. Third, research the average price of the service at least 3 shops before authorizing. If one place is charging much more than the others, something's wrong. Fourth, if possible, take the car to a shop specialized in electronic fuel injection or to an authorized dealership for a second opinion. Yes, it will cost for the diagnosis, but it can save you hundreds or thousands of dollars in unnecessary services. Fifth, never authorize additional services on impulse. If the shop calls saying they discovered more problems besides what you went to solve, ask for all the details in writing, research the subject, and only then decide if you're going to authorize. Sixth, always get a detailed invoice of all services performed. This is your guarantee and proof of what was done in case you need to go to consumer protection or court. And here comes the information I promised at the beginning of the video. I got access to an internal document from a shop network that operates in 4 American states. This document shows their monthly billing divided by type of service. In 2024, just with injector cleaning and services related to the injection system, this network billed $460,000. But the most impressive thing isn't the amount, it's the return rate. 68% of the customers who did injector cleaning came back in less than 3 months with the same problem or with new related problems. This isn't coincidence. It's the system working exactly as it was designed. Create customer dependency through false diagnostics and poorly executed services. You pay, the problem doesn't get solved, you come back, you pay again. And so the cycle continues until you give up on the car or discover the truth. Now you might be thinking, but why don't consumer protection agencies do anything? The truth is, this type of fraud is extremely difficult to prove. The mechanic can always claim he did the service correctly and that your car's problem was that exact one. How are you going to prove otherwise without technical knowledge? How are you going to prove they didn't do the cleaning if you have no way to compare before and after? That's why this scam is so efficient and so widespread. It operates in a gray zone where it's difficult for the victim to prove they were scammed. That's why your best defense is knowledge. It's knowing how to identify the warning signs. It's questioning. It's seeking second opinions. It's not accepting vague diagnostics. And there's one more important thing you need to know. This scam doesn't only happen with injector cleaning. The same logic applies to dozens of other services: throttle body cleaning, engine decarbonization, fuel filter change, miracle additives, invented inspections. It's always the same pattern. Create a problem you can't verify, charge expensive to solve it, and don't really solve it to guarantee you'll come back. The system is set up to keep you hostage. And the only way out of that trap is through information and healthy suspicion. I'm not saying distrust every mechanic. There are serious and honest professionals who do excellent work. But you need to know how to identify who's serious and who's trying to rip you off. So to summarize everything you learned in these 20 minutes, injector cleaning is a real service and sometimes necessary, but most of the time it's offered at shops it's unnecessary or fraudulent. Always demand complete electronic diagnosis before authorizing. Be suspicious of prices way above average and diagnoses that are too quick. If the problem continues after the service, you probably got scammed. Always seek second opinion before spending hundreds or thousands of dollars. Knowledge is your best weapon against these scams, and that's exactly why this channel exists. To give you the information that shops and dealerships don't want you to know. To expose the schemes. To teach you how to protect yourself. If this video helped you understand how this scam works, leave in the comments if you've gone through something similar. How many times have they pushed injector cleaning on you that you now realize probably wasn't necessary? Let's create a community where everyone shares experiences and protects each other. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, because next week I'm going to expose another even more elaborate scam that happens in mandatory dealership inspections. You're going to discover which items of the 10,000-mile service are really necessary and which are just filler to inflate the price. It's a video that can save you thousands of dollars. Share this video with that person you know who's always taking their car to the shop and never solves the problem. You might be saving someone from falling into this scam. Until the next video, and remember, we fall for the scam so you don't have to.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The experiences and opinions shared are based on public sources and consumer data. It is an independent channel and is not affiliated with any automaker, dealership, or repair shop.